Hello everyone. I have my presentation regarding the Czech case of housing incentives. First of all, I would like to go through the content of my presentation. I will start with discussing reasons for incentives. To answer the question whether there is a reasonable reason to have those. So it will be a little case study of housing in Czechia. Then I will briefly discuss different things, different instruments we have in the Czech law: income tax, VAT, property acquisition tax, property tax, and also Green for Savings program with regard to housing. And at the end, I would also like to discuss the effectivity of measures I will be talking about before. So this picture shows OECD housing prices in real terms, which means that the OECD average rose by 25% from 2000 to 2020, which means that we actually have housing problem in almost every country. In nominal terms, the prices rose even greater, but in real terms, the increase is like 25% or something. The case in the Czech Republic is even worse. You can see Czechia with the red color, and this is the change in the real housing prices between the years 2010 and 2020. So in Czechia, the housing prices rose by 45 or something percent. And this graph isn't the worst thing, because it shows only data which end in 2020, and from 2020 to 2024, the rise continued as well. This picture shows data not from OECD but from Deloitte, and it shows the availability of housing in different countries. And by availability, they mean number of yearly salaries you need to buy an average flat in each country. So as you can see, the situation is the worst in Czechia. You need 13.3 yearly salaries to buy an average flat. In Slovakia, it's also very bad. On the other hand, in Italy, it's quite good. So who are Italians, that's good for you. Then I have another picture which shows different cities, and on this picture you can see that Prague, as our capital, is the second worst city to buy a flat in from the cities that were being compared, and once again, Rome is the best place to buy a flat, because compared to real wages, it's 2 times cheaper than to buy a flat in Prague. So from these data, I think that there is a real reason to use tax incentives to try to solve housing problem with prices of housing, with availability of housing. And I will now discuss measures we have in our Czech legal system, and which try to fight these troubles, and we will see whether they are effective or not. Starting with income tax and VAT. Regarding the income tax, we have so-called mortgage tax credit. That's a little bit similar to the thing Gellert was talking about before. So if you have a mortgage, you can deduct part of the interest you pay for your housing from your tax base. The limit is roughly 6,000 euros a year, and this benefit is widely used in Czechia. trouble is that statistics show that only 13% of people who use this benefit use it to buy new homes which are being built. If you want to say whether this instrument is effective in promoting new buildings, in promoting supply, it's not very effective because most of the money is used to help people buy housing which was already being built like 10, 20 years ago. So only 13% of the money is used effectively as an incentive to speed up residential building. There is other trouble. I'm sorry, this is in Czech, but I will translate it for you. There is another trouble that most of the money which flows through this benefit goes to the top 20% earners, as you can see on the right. So most of the money goes through this benefit to, I would say, rich people who buy not new houses. Back to income tax and VAT. We also have an exemption, like the income from sales of houses is largely exempt using so-called time test, which means that if you own a house for a certain amount of time and then you sell it, you don't pay tax from this transaction. There is no income tax in this case. Regarding the VAT, we have two rates of VAT, 12% and 21%. And the lower rate applies to so-called social housing, but social housing definition in our legal system is quite wide. As you can see, by social housing, the legislation means flats that are up to 120 meters, square meters, or single-family houses which are up to 350 meters, which, at least in my opinion, isn't very social. Like if you have a flat which has 150 meters, I don't think that qualifies as a social housing in the common meaning of that word. So these smaller houses and smaller flats are under lower VAT rate. The bigger ones are under the higher. This also has an effect that there are almost no flats which have, for example, 125 square meters. There are those under 120, and then there are those which are much bigger because it doesn't make sense to build something which has 121 square meters, for example. Then I would like to say something about property acquisition tax and property tax. Property acquisition tax was actually abolished in 2021. It used to be 4% of the value of the property and was paid by the buyer of the property, but the government abolished it and said that the reason for abolishing it is to make housing in the Czech Republic cheaper. In my opinion, it wasn't very effective because the trouble of housing in our country is not on the demand side, but rather on the supply side. But I will show it later. We also have property taxes, which were reformed last year, but the system that you pay property tax based on mainly square meters of the house you own and not on the real value of the house is still intact. There is also no change if you own one property, second property, third property. So there is no, I would say, progressive tax rate for people who own multiple houses. They still pay basically the same. Now I would like to talk about the program which is called Green for Saving, which is a subsidies program which is used to subsidize energy savings in residential building. It is very successful. Looking at the numbers, we have in the Czech Republic we have 10 million inhabitants, and we had 500,000 applications for this program, through which you can get money for heat pumps, solar panels, insulation, better windows, better doors, and stuff like that. There is trouble with this program, which is, I think, quite similar to the one Erika was talking about, that it mostly serves richer households. Because there is statistics that most of the money which went through this program went to the people who are comparatively rich with other people in the Czech Republic. The country knows this, so the Ministry of Environment introduced two, I would say, sub-programs. One of them is Green for Savings Live, which aims to provide this money also to people who aren't that rich. There is a change in the mechanism of the time when the money is provided to the people, because the big program gives you money only after you finish your investment. So you renovate your house, then you do all the papers, and then you get the money, which means that people who don't have the money in the first place can't do the renovation. The Green for Savings Light changes it, that it gives people the money in advance. And there is also a program which is called, and I find it quite funny, that's the reason why I put it there. It's called Opravdu po babičce in Czech. In English, it's Fix Up Grandma's House. And the program says that if you inherit a house in the countryside, then you could renovate it and start living in that house. So that's basically the logic of the program. So it's also aimed at I would say poorer people, rural regions, etc. The thing I would like to end with is the question of demand versus supply, because in market economy, all the prices are dependent on demand and supply. And I think that the trouble with a lot of policies which try to influence housing and housing prices is that those policies are, I would say, demand side policies, that they try to influence the behavior of people who are buying houses by, for example, abolishing the transaction tax, by lowering the VAT rate, etc. But almost no measures we have in the Czech Republic are measures that work with supply side, and by supply side I mean measures which promote house building, measures which mean that it's easier and cheaper to supply new houses to the market. Actually, this thing is getting worse, because we have a new building code which was introduced, I think, 2 years ago. And since we have this building code which was supposed to make everything easier, everything just got slower and more complicated. So we have multiple instruments on the demand side, but the supply side is the thing that isn't working right now in the Czech Republic. To conclude, there is a housing crisis in many places, including Czechia. We have in the Czech Republic various tax incentives, but they have limited effect. Some of them are even counterproductive. And the thing that is important when designing tax policies is that you have to get the economy right, because if you don't do the economic thinking behind the tax decisions right, then you can make things even worse. So, with taxes, it's important to think about economy. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for this exciting and fascinating presentation. And now the floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you. I had a brief discussion about nudge. That is a really interesting topic because you mentioned the book of Thaler and Sunstein, and unfortunately I read it. And I had the pleasure to discuss about nudge with a professor that I think you know, Hans Birknau. And I had this interesting discussion because he told me when you are talking about tax, there's no nudge. Because I was supposed that maybe the tax framework could nudge, could gentle push, as the two authors said. So I was thinking about, maybe can we use tax to push or not? And Professor Birknau said no. So I was going on thinking about nudge and how can we use it for in our field, in tax field. And I think, linked with ESG criteria, I think that maybe ESG could be a good nudge because they are not binding and they are 3 different criteria that are made by some measures, and not all the measures are binding. And then one chapter of this book is dedicated to environmental issue, and I was surprised that the 2 authors was in line with me, in my opinion, but I'm anybody. And they said that an example of nudge in the environmental field is, for example, a list of companies who are polluting or who are not ESG compliant as well, like social measures or something similar. So, because this kind of list, there's for chemical products, and it worked very, very good in order to incentivize other companies, chemical companies, to reduce their, production and pollution as well. So I think, long story short, that nudge could be very useful, I think, but I linked ESG, I linked nudge with ESG with something not binding, and not with taxes